Now you hear a noise there, if you listen to this. So just about to empty the tumbler. It's what we put in yesterday. We put in titanium mechanical pencil bodies and titanium pen bodies. So we're doing like a sort of polish on that, or semi-polish on that. So we're just going to empty that just now and take the pieces out. And that's it for this Sunday morning. It is around 8 hours since I was messing around with that tumbler. The time is now, I think, 8 o'clock at night, something like that. I've come in. Usually I'm good at doing my video, like I try and do stuff throughout the day, or I get it done in the morning, afternoon, something like that. It's on my daily YouTube video. But today, it's Sunday. But now what I'm going to do is grind this spinner blank here. So I'm going to grind it on here, nice and simple, quick skim of the edges, no tumbling, don't have time for that. And we're going to see, pop a core in it. In fact, we're going to put this core here in it, brass core, copper buttons. That there is a ding that happened from when I dropped it the other day. Here is some new sandpaper that I ordered a week or so ago for the sander. The stuff that I basically ran out of the other stuff, and it was a little bit too smooth as well. So I've got a couple of grades here. These are Trizact A160 made by 3M. A160 is very rough. I think it's the equivalent of, I don't know, it's rough anyway. And this one is Trizact A30. Okay, so that is it, fully sanded. Two types of sandpaper, the A160 then the A30. Still a little bit rough because I don't have any A6, which would be even smoother, but that's all good. I also Scotch Brighted the inside here. Now I'll show it to you close up in just a second, but in yesterday's video, you know, I spent 10 minutes answering questions from sort of the last handful of videos, and I think it came across quite well. You know, people seemed interested. So what I'll do again is I'll answer just a few comments quickly, well, questions from the comments from yesterday's video. Just, you know, just to sort of see if this is an ongoing thing, see how you like it. Let me know if you don't want to hear any of this. Let me know if you want me to keep going. You know, it's new to me, it's new to you probably as well. Right, ballpark figure for shipping to the US. I'm assuming you mean from my website. I think it is just under $10 US, and that's for like a DHL Express 3 to 5 day service. I think if you spend more than a certain amount on my website, then I pay the shipping, so I can't remember what it is, if it is still that, but yeah, so at most it's just under, I think, $10 US for shipping to anywhere in the world actually. You said possibly tungsten products. What's the draw towards tungsten if stainless is so heavy? I worked with tungsten and that stuff is a pain. It's not so, it's like titanium is light, so I use titanium. It's light and it's strong. Aluminium is not that strong, and it's just so common. There is something about using something that's really common that I don't like. If I want heavier metal, then I'm going to go the full hog. Like, there's sort of no middle ground with me. It's either all or nothing. So if I want some heavier metal, I'm going to go for tungsten. Yes, it's a pain to work with for sure, and it's not cheap either. I don't even, it might even be more expensive than titanium. Maybe not per kilo, but certainly for what you get bulk wise, because it's so much heavier. Yeah, so there's, and not many people do tungsten, so that makes me want to do it. Stainless steel it's just everywhere. Do more Q&As like this, question and answers, and why do you only use titanium? I think I answered that in yesterday's video, but I'll cover it again anyway. Titanium is, there's just so many positive things about it compared to the negative things. I mean, the negative things is that it's really tough to machine and it's a lot more expensive than most other metals. Other than that, just positive. You know, like strength to weight ratio, if it's grade 5 titanium, the elasticity, just, yeah, not many people do it. Everyone's just using cheap and cheerful aluminium or stainless steel. So, you know, a whole host of things. Will we be able to order a spinner in a specific type? I would like to get one of the fatty style spinners that you did. Now the fatty spinner, F-A-T-T-Y, was one of the spinners I prototyped a long time ago. It was one of my most popular ones. Well, I say a long time ago, a couple of weeks ago. Possibly, I'm gonna make, you know, 2 or 3 spinners, and it'll be the most popular ones that I've shown in the last 3 or 4 weeks of the prototypes I've made. I doubt I'll make every single spinner, because some of them were just real dogs, you know, not that many, but some of them were. Others were just awesome, and so basically not every one of the prototypes I've done recently will be available, but certainly some of them will be. Hey Magnus, I get how you like to create very high quality spinners, but can you make some out of a cheaper material such as aluminium or steel for those that can't afford the $150 to $200 titanium spinners? Short answer, no. Long answer, no, not really. Right, I think that's almost all of them. There's 1 or 2 I missed, but you know, we got to keep going. So let's have a close-up look at this. Now what I did, I hadn't planned to do this, but I did it anyway. I did a little bit of beveling there, so you can see that on those 2 sides. I also did beveling basically all around the corners, which you should be able to see. There we go. It could really do with tumbling, but like I said, don't have time for that tonight. Because I sort of went around the edges with Scotch-Brite, which just sort of smooths it a little bit, it feels okay, it feels pretty good. So I think what we need to do now is pop the core into it. Core is ready to go. This core is by NTO Designs. It is a core that I use just because right now I only have access to a water jet cutter, and so I just cut sort of an area in it very roughly that can accept the core. Once I get the milling machine on the go, which should be soon, I'll be able to machine it properly so that I can, you know, put a proper bearing in and my own buttons, and it'll be entirely titanium. I'm just not a fan of like the old school metals of brass and copper, not really my thing. I do appreciate that other people appreciate them, but personally not really for me. Now this thing is pretty big. Now you hear a noise there. You listen to this. That is the copper buttons being a little bit too loose and the titanium touching them, I believe. That seems to be what it is. So there's obviously going to be some friction there. This thing's huge. I mean, I think that must be 3 inches. Usually the spinners I make are about 2 to 2.5 at most, maybe 2.25 inches, but generally 2 inches. Let's have a, oh, something, it's got a lot of mass. I mean, even though it's titanium, there's still a lot of mass there. As you can see, it doesn't create like a nice pattern or anything. It's because of the shape. When it spins, it's just a big kind of messy spin. If I'm honest, I'll be brutally honest, it doesn't spin as well as I thought it would. It's got a bit of a wobble, of course, because it's hand ground. It's just water jet cut. There's no machining involved. But you know, it's interesting. It's one of those ones where I think I've learned what not to do. It certainly looks interesting, that's for sure. It's got a sort of, I mean, obviously it's symmetrical. I like this clamping here, the way it kind of clamps there and there. That looks good, but in terms of performance, there's too much mass to it. It's just, oh, that looked like a good spin. Do you see that? Let's do that again. There we go. See the way that's coming back again? Ah. I like the way the camera does that. It's sort of, because of the frame rate. Out of interest, you see that sort of, there we go, see where it goes backwards? I can't see that in real life. I can see it in the screen, but it doesn't happen in real life. It's related to the frame rate. I shoot at 60 frames a second, and I play it back to you at 30 frames a second, and that's what's giving this effect. You know, whether you do 30 or 60, I don't think it makes a difference, but that's why you get this kind of cool effect. I would call this a failure, pretty much. I mean, there's a couple of good things about it, but yeah, I'm happy to call it failure. And with that, I will leave you with a quote. It is by Ellen DeGeneres, and she said, "It is failure that gives you the proper perspective on success."